Hey everybody, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Teri Hunter. I'm an angel therapy practitioner, Reiki master, intuitive guide, and empowerment coach. And I'm here with this week's interactive pick an angel card reading. But before I go on to the readings, I just want to ask you, if you have not subscribed to my channel, please subscribe. If you have subscribed, please be sure to put on that notification bell so that you'll know when videos come out. And be sure to like and comment and share the videos. Now, just for a little background on how these the spreads work. The first position represents the foundational dynamic. It's sort of the platform with which you're stepping out onto the week. The second represents an opportunity and or an obstacle. One coin, two sides. Every opportunity has an inherent obstacle, and every obstacle has an inherent opportunity. The third position represents the angel's advice for getting around the obstacle or taking advantage of the opportunity. And the final position represents the potential outcome for the week. I suggest that you set an intention. Maybe you ask a specific question, and you'll best be served by asking not what will happen to you, but how you can be influential and what's the word I'm looking for? That you are a co-creator of your experience. So how can Spirit best advise you to be in the right energy, the right vibration, the right frequency to help manifest what it is that you want to? All right, let's jump right into the readings. I start with a Kyle Gray card as sort of a common thread for whatever the question is that you ask. Whether it's about your love life, your finances, your work situation, your family, etc. So those of you that picked angel reading number 1, our Kyle Gray card is the High Priest, and it says intend and create. This is a focused energy. It's really asking you to look beyond the experiences you've been having, the experiences you're used to, your history, and to set an intention. And as you set that intention, part of the creation process is to look and to establish or to try to determine how much you're standing in a vibration that is believable about what you're intending to create. That believability is sort of a measure of resistance. If I haven't seen it, how do I believe it? And that's when you have to go into your heart chakra and ask yourself, why would I have this yearning if my soul wasn't able to create? So in our foundational position, for those of you that picked angel reading number 1, intend and create, because you're going through a transformation, as is indicated by the Death card. And Aurora says you're flying high right now. Don't descend, because even though people may be threatened by your way of thinking, your way of being, they will soon be inspired by your ability to create beyond what they think. So let me offer it this way. The High Priest is saying to intend and create. You're intending to create something that you haven't experienced. And while you're going through the transformation, it's important to keep yourself sort of insulated from people, experiences, and situations that will fuel your fears, or people that will be, let's say, people who will say let's say you're inspired by an idea and someone says, well, how are you going to do that? How are you going to do that? And you say, well, I'm just going to intend for it to happen. And they look at you like you're a crazy person. Don't walk into those conversations, because those people don't understand energy and of the laws of attraction. And you may still be sitting on a bit of a wobble yourself. So in order to keep yourself anchored into what you want, only allow yourself to be in energies that support that. Because in your opportunity and or your obstacle is Caressa saying you're coming to the end of a life cycle, a chapter is ending, and new chapters offer happiness. But before that comes in, you're going to have to sort of dig deeper into the sort of truth. The Lady of the Lake represents the courage to see the truth. And part of the truth is, how have you been co-creating the experience that you've been having? And how do you have the courage and the ability to sit through the emotional storm as you recalibrate what you believe about the situation. And that's again why I go back to the idea of keeping yourself in a situation that supports or allows you, like, let me just give a quick metaphor. If you want to create good health and you want to feel safe during these challenging times, then to listen to statistics and numbers and the fear around your health is not going to serve you. So submerging yourself in situations that support the bigger vision of what you want, allowing yourself to say, I know that things are a little shaky right now, but I can stand strong in my courage as I hold true to what is authentic to me. Because in the angel's advice is the partnership card, and Isabella saying, yes, the timing is right for this new venture, and a happy outcome follows your positive expectation. And that is in direct relation to the closing of this chapter and your ability to be courageous within the situation. The partnership that the angels are talking about is really not a partnership outside yourself, but a partnership with the braver part of yourself, the part of yourself that knows that you're co-creating. And I want to offer it this way. For those of you that picked angel reading number 1, if you've been co-creating experiences that you don't like, then rather than villainizing those experiences, using them as an opportunity to launch into the new chapter. And rather than villainizing the situation, imagining how getting out of the situation or allowing yourself to transform through the situation will bring you happiness, because you are going to learn something as a result of this disruption and inadvertently teach others. And the disruption has a lot to do with the transformation that the death card offers. And this Aurora saying you're flying high right now, don't descend because you may threaten others. So the disruption may be that you're used to, calling one person in particular whenever you want to discuss something that is challenging to you. And you've come to the realization that when I talk about something that's challenging to me, I'm actually giving life to it because I'm kicking in the laws of attraction. So rather than focusing in on it, I'm going to try to find the neutral zone because I'm so knee deep in it. I'm so knee deep in this. This is the disruption card that I really can't quite see my way out of it. So as I sit in this intention to create a new experience, I am recalibrating the law of attraction, and I need to give it some time for that recalibration. And part of your journey over this next period of time is to not villainize those that are in a different vibration than you, but rather allow yourself to determine if going in there and trying to have this conversation about your own transformation will really be served by rubbing up against somebody who's not quite aligned to where you're moving into. Because once you get there, then you can help support and counsel and bring them with you. I hope that made sense. All right, let's go on to angel reading number 2. And for those of you that picked angel reading number 2, we have the Kyle Gray card, the guardian angel. You are not alone. And when I look at this, I can't help but see the moon, my intuition, the mother energy. Here we have the father energy, the sun, and then we have the all-knowing source energy. So, and here the representation of spirit, the angelic realm. So I want to offer those of you that picked angel reading number 2, if indeed you are feeling alone, calling upon your heavenly team, telling them your concerns, telling them that you are under the veil of the earthly experience of illusion, and thank you for making your presence known to me. because in our foundational position, we have Daniel, the angel of marriage, and we have the wind fairy. And I would have to say that Daniel, while he talks about bringing in an intimate partner, he focuses more on the energy of your history in intimate relationships. And this may be keeping you in a state that's feeling a little bit lonely. I don't know, I haven't looked at the other cards yet, but with the guardian angel saying you're not alone, it leads me to believe that this is akin to the song Bless the Broken Road by Rascal Flatts. You know, as you contemplate your story in intimate relationships, you have an opportunity to assert yourself into a new direction. And that is that every person who came before was bringing you to be into the vibration of accepting love and being the partner that you want to be, rather than an aberrated version or a version of yourself that isn't quite what you want to be in a relationship. And what I mean when I say that is not necessarily focused in on how your partner is receiving you, but how you're receiving yourself as you commingle your energy with another. Because in the angel's advice, for those of you that picked angel reading number 2, we have the stag. And the stag, it represents sort of a dual energy, and that is leadership as well as pride, and it can be stubborn pride. So here the angels are saying, be a leader in following your heart. As you honor and follow the guidance of your heart, prosperity is coming to you. And this guidance is to assert yourself lovingly towards what you need, rather than going back into your history where you asserted yourself and maybe people left or they didn't respond well, because you are being guided and you are being supported by your heavenly team to facilitate the real version of what you want, not the version of what you think you can get in relationships. Because in the final position is the Baird, again, representing my history. But this also represents the enchantment of storytelling. It represents music. It represents history and myth. And there's Seraphina saying there's a happy change coming to your family. And what I think that is rather than villainizing your romantic history, because this very much feels like a romantic history, it's almost digging a little bit deeper and saying, hey, you know what? I thought I wanted that person, but when I really reflect on it, I realized that maybe they weren't as open-hearted, or I didn't feel comfortable to truly be myself in that energy or in a series of energies. So as I've asserted myself to be myself in a very calm way, the dragon is very calm. Look at her paw. It's very submissive. And then we have the Athena, who's lovingly asserting herself. And she's asserting herself through her heart. And she's feeling the leadership of that. And in doing so, it's rewriting the story of her life in a way, or your life in a way that you may not have contemplated before. All right, let's go on to angel reading number 3. Oops. For those of you that picked angel reading number 3, our Kyle Gray, the theme of the reading is the Earth Guardian. Stay rooted and grounded. And if you look very carefully, you'll see that the majority, well, you don't have to look carefully, but the majority of the color of this card is green, which represents the heart chakra. His hand is covering his heart. He is coming from his heart. And his heart, they're representing this emerald here at the third eye, because it is truly through the heart that the third eye is allowed to its full, to realize its full openness, because it's coming from trust. So what is happening? For those of you that picked angel reading number 3, we have Xana, the angel of protection, telling you that all types of harm are behind you. And the owl is asking you to really look and see where, when you have felt unsafe, where are you actually being protected? Because the owl is really that one coin, two sides, where there is opportunity when we think there is not. And there is obstacles sometimes when we think there is opportunity. So Zana is saying that as you stay rooted in your heart chakra and you stay grounded in that heart, if your heart is giving you doubt about something, then take a pause. Don't allow yourself to be pushed into an answer, because in the opportunity and or the obstacle is Indriel, the light worker. And here's the forgiveness card. And I don't think this is about forgiveness as much as it feels about the reconciliation of a situation. It's where I am coming from the higher part of myself. I'm allowing my crown chakra, my third eye, and the chakras up around the head area to be illuminated, which is giving me sight I didn't have before, which is helping me to decipher and feel protected. Because in the angel's advice, we have Bethany and we have the butterfly. Bethany is an angel of straight up self-care. And that's exactly what I believe Indriel is telling you, that as you take care of yourself, you may be feeling pushed to another's agenda or to a situation at work that doesn't feel authentic to yourself. And if indeed it has anything to do with, regulations, or you feel like you have to do this in order to support your financial well-being, then speak to God and the angels to help you trust your heart as you blossom and you take care of yourself in a way that may not be obvious to your physical eyes right now, because the novice represents skill without practice. It represents innocence and ignorance in some ways. And here's Ariel saying that new psychic and spiritual experiences are changing the way you're viewing yourself and others. And I want to offer it this way, because those of you that picked angel reading number 3, it feels like your heart is telling you something that the outside world is in opposition to in some way. And I feel as if rather than going up against the opposition, just staying in a pause, staying in the neutral zone, maybe not giving a direct answer, but waiting for some sort of illumination to come. Because Spirit is very much encouraging you to trust yourself and what you want. And if you have an inner knowing that is telling you that everything you're hearing on the outside is not authentic to what you're hearing on the inside, then ask Spirit to give you signs and omens, and then use your willingness to be curious, willingness to say, I'm looking for validation that my heart is on track and aligned to my higher self, and you will get it. Okay, let's go on to angel reading number 4. Our Kyle Gray card, is mountains. Stand your ground. And I find this very interesting because the way that the picture is depicted, we see this reflection. The reflection of the mountain on the inside is a very different color than the mountain on the outside. So it indicates to me that the theme of this reading is that you may appear hard and cold on the outside, but there's more going on the inside, and you have to trust the inside and not succumb to how the outside is perceiving you. In the angel's advice, in the foundational position, for those of you that picked angel reading number 4, you are actually going to the angelic school of energy, and you are learning about your being energy. And as you stand your ground based on what you know on the interior, the mirror part of this, the under part versus what we see up here, what appears to the outside, I believe that you will trust and know that your energy sets a tone, because in your, I'm sorry to laugh, but there's the trust card. There's the trust as you set your intentions with God and the angels, and you stand your ground regardless of what the outside world is telling you. because the angel's voice is Vanessa saying, are you going to base your decisions on faith or fear? And there's the joy card. And I believe that as you stand your ground, you will be supported. And I can't help but kind of get this feeling of picking a profession that people don't understand, or pursuing some of the newer professions that are offered with the various applications and platforms, TikTok, Twitter. I think there's even something called Twitch now, I was hearing. And there's different platforms that offer people opportunities to express themselves and create professions for themselves. Because in the final position is the horse and is Sonia. Sonia talks about a deceased loved one being safe on heaven and earth. And then the horse talks about going in a new direction. For me, this very much goes back to the mountain, standing my ground, trusting my intuition over what I'm appearing to look like on the outside. This feels like I'm going in a new direction. And I'm delegating to spirit much of my being energy. It's almost like a baton pass. So you're making a declaration in some way. This is what I want. I'm standing my ground. I'm trusting in my intentions. And then there is a part of me that knows I must display faith, and that faith must come from a joyful place, excited expectation. And in doing so, it really makes me trust more succinctly and more rooted in the physical. This horse to me very much represents Sagittarius, and Sagittarius represents the 9th house, which represents beliefs, religious beliefs, beliefs in ourselves. And so to me, that's where I'm going with that. It's really bringing in a deeper belief in yourself and your trust in the communication and your intentions. All right, let's go to our final reading for this week. And our Kyle Gray card is surround yourself with protective energy, the arrow. And I want to offer this because the arrow in the tarot deck represents thought. It begins the suit of strife and struggle, because it's our thoughts that create our strife and struggle. So surrounding yourself with protective energy is a way of protecting your mind and keeping it focused in on what you want. And then again, we have the outside world giving us input about the viability of our wants and desires and actually living them. And for those of you that picked angel reading number 5, Merlin offers alchemy, balance, and justice. And I feel like this is part of the pressure that you may feel in your focus. But look at the arrow card and look at Ray. Your power chakra, as represented by the yellow stripe, comes from being able to take your energy and to focus it in a way that is connected to spirit. Alchemy does not happen easily. It's a pressurized situation that turns a semi-precious metal into a precious metal. And I like to think of it as the diamond, that piece of coal, that lump that is just black and dark. And then as it goes in this pressurized dynamic, it becomes this multifaceted light being. And I believe that what you're going to experience is, as you are mindful of the input around you, somebody who's constantly focused in on what's wrong is setting a vibration that won't allow in what is right. And so as you walk through this week and you hear these things, it's not about villainizing the outside input. It's more about choosing for yourself where you want that focus to be. Because in our opportunity and our obstacle is the Earth Fairy and Chantal. And this, for those of you that picked angel reading number 5, Chantal is a romance angel. And if indeed you've been wanting to experience romance, you've been wanting to experience love in your life, it's time in some ways not to be stubborn about what you have experienced in the past, but rather think of yourself as that diamond. And then really very much put your focus in on what serves you versus what doesn't. If it is indeed you wanting your love life to feel more fluffy, more fun, more viable, then focusing in on what that feels like is going to help that. It's going to create a new foundation, because in the angel's advice, Bridget is telling me very much that those of you that picked angel reading number 5 are having trouble visualizing what it is you want. You're having trouble in some ways creating a strong foundation in matters of love. And I'm going to broaden this from just intimate love to loving relationships in general. Relationships where we feel vulnerable to another person's opinion of us and their way of being with us. Because as we get caught up in what appears to be negative, we inadvertently are giving life to that energy. So again, this is where the arrow card is really asking me to surround myself with energies that serve the vision of what I want, versus surrounding myself with people I'm trying to prove myself to and then maybe get their approval. Because in the final position is Azure, saying your desired outcome will happen in the near future. Have patience and faith and don't try to force it. Force is a resistant energy. And then I really feel that the serpent is representing the shedding of a new skin. And that shedding is not necessarily immediately evident to the outside world again, but more evident to you. So you have such a strong support from spirit that you are a diamond. You are a precious metal. And as you walk through and be willing to allow for, I want to offer it this way. I want to lovingly say, where have you participated in the challenges in your love life because you've been focused on the challenges in your love life? And as you're aware of that, you get to rewrite the story. And in doing so, you start to rewrite the law of attraction. You start to change your vibration. And in doing that, you start to draw in the experiences you want. 2021 is a year that is all about breaking away the old structure and bringing in new structure. We have astrologically Saturn, which represents the old, and Uranus, which represents the innovative, coming in a square, which is a tense aspect, but it offers us liberation from systems and dynamics and thought processes that contain us into things that don't serve our greatest happiness. And while Uranus sometimes is jarring, it is sometimes we need to be jarred out of something in order to truly move. So this arrow card is really allowing you, it's not about protecting yourself from something. That's a resistant energy. It's about knowing you're protected as you are aware of the focus of your thoughts. And that is exactly what Ray is saying. And to trust in some ways that if there is pressure, if there are challenges, they are meant to give you a stronger foundation in how you're actually viewing love. And your desired outcome will happen in the very near future. All right, that's it for me this week. If you'd like to book a personal reading with me, you can get my information in the description below. Again, my name is Teri Hunter. I'm an angel therapy practitioner, Reiki master, intuitive guide, and empowerment coach. And I'm here to help you on your spiritual journey, to empower you and to support you as you create the life you want to live. So be back next week. Be sure to like and subscribe and share and put on that notification bell. Have a good week, everybody. Bye-bye. End. All right.